Welcome to Courageous Creative Conquerors. I'm your host, Jean Voice Dart, Expressive Arts psychotherapist, credentialed teacher, and coach. It's my belief that we are all courageously creative and destined to navigate our way through life, learning how to feel, reveal, and heal. And we do this safely and effectively through the expressive arts. Hi, everyone. I'm Jean Voice Dart, the host of Courageous Creative Conquerors, and I have with me Solarzar, my special guest. And I'm just delighted to have you here. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Jean. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really pleased to be here and speak with you.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the expressive arts and what it means to be a courageous creative conqueror. And I'm sure that throughout your life, I know a little bit about your story. You've had to be courageously creative. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what that means to you?
Well, actually, here's the thing that I would say about being courageously creative is one, we have to be willing to try to be creative. We have to inch forward. And we don't have to say everything I do creatively has to be a finished project, but we have to allow the journey of that creativity to take us where we are going to go. We don't always know where we're going to go, but it's going to lead us. So I think being courageously creative is being willing to be creative, take the steps, move forward, and let it take you where it leads. And take the journey. That's it.
Yeah, so how does one be willing to be creative if they're feeling overwhelmed or maybe they have just received a diagnosis, a health diagnosis that's disturbing or in financial stress? Or how does one latch onto that wave of being courageously creative?
Well, we certainly have two options. We can lie back and be a victim and say, everything's coming at me, poor me. Or we can say, what can I do? And there's two things we have to do, especially when it deals with health. What can I do to work on my health? And what can I do to bring me some creative and happy and joyful diversion from being focused on my health? It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be as simple as I'm going to bake cupcakes once a week and I'm going to create my own essential oil scents. I'm going to make my own mixes and spread them throughout the house. I'm going to actually plant a new set of flowers in my garden.
I like
Or
that.
I'm going to create a garden of vegetables because I'd like to grow some healthy organic vegetables. So the the things we can do are one, whatever self-care is required by a health issue. Very tough, of course, when we're depressed, and we can go into depression from physical health as well as emotional health. But focus on the self-care for that issue. And second, what can we do that's playful? And I'd like to jump in with a little quick story. I think it was called the Oxford Study. They took some children at the age of 7 and they studied these children. And they said, like, one liked to draw, one liked to run, one liked to jump, one liked to sing, one liked to play music. They all did these things. And they traveled with them throughout their life. So 7 years later, they visited them and see where they were at the age of 14 and what they were doing. And 7 years later, at the age of 21, what they were doing. And 7 years later, and 7 years later. And what they found is the people who enjoyed their life the most were doing something they enjoyed doing when they were 7.
Oh,
If they liked to color, they were still drawing, whether they were a professional or not. If they liked music, they still played, whether they were a professional or not. But whatever they enjoyed doing then, they continued to do that throughout their life. And that activity brought a lot of the joy to their life, a lot of the happiness, and a lot of the outlet. What many of us have forgotten is to play at that outlet that we used to enjoy.
but can you tell our viewers more about you and your journey from childhood till now, just in a quick couple of sentences?
Well,
Yes,
my quick Oxford study would be I didn't get much attention at home. So when there were family gatherings, I'd like to perform, whatever it was. I do some kind of performance, and people say, "Oh, he's so clever, he's so cute, he's so this." So that's how I got my attention. So to this day, I love to perform. I still perform. As you
Yes.
know, I do some magic, I do public speaking, I do training. These are all things that put me in front of an audience. So if I have an audience, I feel very satisfied. It's what I want to do. And with my audiences, I don't look at it as like you're looking at me. I look at it as I'm sharing this with you. I want you to enjoy it.
When we can find a way not just to give or not just to receive, but to give and receive at the same time, that action is the key, I believe, to joy in my life and health and healing wellness, is that moment when that flow goes both directions. What do you think about that?
Oh, I completely agree. I think it's the difference between the ego and the heart. I think when we give from the heart, we're going to receive.
Yeah.
When we're giving from the ego, maybe not so much, because that's our way of saying, hey, look at me. But when we give from the heart, people understand we're giving openly, we're allowing a certain level of vulnerability, not exposure, but vulnerability. We're saying, here's a part of me, I'm going to share it with you. And people will share back. They always do. It's a no fail situation. So I agree with you. The giving and receiving, as long as we come from the heart, it works.
Yeah, that has just really been my lifesaver is every situation that I'm in, no matter what's happening, try to find the way to receive from that situation, even if it's something negative. I try to find a way to receive and to give. And that just really keeps me in balance and keeps joy in my heart all the time.
Well, you have a very big heart, and I think people who know you are well aware of that.
So thank you. Yeah.
The interesting point about that, even if it's negative, so I also believe when we were talking about our courageous creativity, our creative conquerors, uh, when we're talking about that, every experience is a lesson. As you said, some are not necessarily but they're a lesson.
Yeah.
If we can determine what the lesson is, then it's not necessarily a negative. It may not be what we wanted. Buddha said all life is suffering. What he is really talking about is our expectations.
Yes.
Expect that if I do X, I'm always going to get Y. And that doesn't happen.
No.
And so, as long as I say there's no why is there no why? My expectation leads me to suffering. It leads me to disappointment. But if we can take whatever happens and says, what can I learn from this? What can I do about this? As I said earlier, if we take an action, we're putting ourselves back in control of whatever life has handed us.
That's true. That's so true. We're kindred spirits here. We're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, tell us a little bit more about you and your chapter in the book.
Yeah, the magical journey of becoming.
Yeah.
And the reason I kind of chose that title, because I believe that's a definition of my life, but I also believe that's a definition of everyone's life. Very few of us come out of the womb and suddenly say, I know, here's how I'm going to be. Some people are very ingrained very early on. Some people are very reinforced very early on. But most of us go through, as I said earlier, a series of lessons and we learn things. What works? Does this work for me? Does this not work for me? How do I connect with people? I was very shy and introverted, except you give me an audience. But so I really didn't know for many years of my life. I don't really connect with people in a social situation. Just didn't know what to say, what to do. So all of that is part of becoming. And when I look at my life, I look at it in phases. So if I took my life, I would have multiple chapters for each phase, not just the one chapter. And each of those chapters taught me something else. And they weren't necessarily the final lessons because every lesson allowed me to build on that lesson as I learned a new lesson. So it all became a journey of to who I am today. And I think that we're all in the journey of becoming who we truly are.
Yes. Would you say that you're happy that this is your happiest time of your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
As
I
a
mean,
matter of fact, I would not say this is the easiest time of my life either. but
Yeah.
it is the happiest time of my life.
Yes, me too. I keep getting happier and happier.
It's a gift.
I
It
don't know if I can get any happier, yeah, I think, as we move forward in that flow and acceptance and passion and purpose of what we're to be doing, we just naturally become more happy and comfortable in our lives. Yeah.
Several years ago, my family, I'm originally from New York. My family, I went back for a Christmas holiday to visit my family, my sister, my nieces, and my brother-in-law, his brother and I went to high school together. And he said to me, I don't know what led him to ask the question. He said to me, "Do you have any regrets?" And I said, "No." I said, "I would change things. If I could go back, there are things I would change, no question." I said, "But I can't regret them because those experiences made me who I am today. And I love who I am today. So without that experience, I don't know if I'd be who I am today. So I can't regret it."
Me too. I mean, I had a rocky life. I lived in a homeless shelter. I was sexually assaulted multiple times. I had so many different things happening to me. I was told I was going to die through 3 times. The doctor held my hand and says, "You have to face it. You're going to die." That was 40 years ago. But I mean, I've had so many things in my life that really made me who I am as a compassionate person, as a really driven, persevering person. And I'm so grateful for all of those. I'm very grateful. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about performing just for a minute. You're a performer, and you're one of our few performers in our book, The Expressive Arts, The Ultimate Creative Guide to Transforming Stress. So,
I always believe I'm there to plant a seed, whatever it is, whether I speak, whether I perform, whether I train, I'm planting seeds. Now, I don't know where the seeds are going to sprout.
yeah, okay.
I, some ground is going to be fallow, some is going to be rich in minerals. I don't know. So, what I'm looking for as a performer to plant seeds, because I believe the greatest gift we have is our ability to reason through things. Some would say, our ability to, consciously determine or decide, but to reason through things and to think them through. Life is so rich. So as a performer, I'm always looking to plant seeds. And I like when people come up and question those things later. And frankly, I always turned it back on them. I'm actually not there to give them answers. I'm there to plant seeds for
Yes.
them to come up with their own answers. And I love that. To me, it's the same as doing a tarot reading for somebody. I'm not there to say, "Oh, this card says don't go to the grocery store this weekend." No, this card is offering some guidance. You decide what to do with it.
Yeah, oh, I love that. I love that so much. That for me, that's just my mantra. Giving
Yeah.
other people freedom and empowering them. I'm not fixing anybody or telling them anything, but I love that you do that with your readings. That means a lot to me. Yeah. Well, if there's one thing that you could give the people that are out there right now and that are maybe struggling and listening about the expressive arts and how that can help them with their lives, what would you say? Some tip or technique or some practice that they could do each day? What would you give to someone right now?
It's a two-step process. It's very simple. First, when you feel yourself depressed or reactive, let's say Gene said something to me and I was going to react. First thing to do is breathe 3 times through the nose, out through the mouth. Just take that breath to think about it. And then what I like to say, both to myself and toward others, although toward others I say it silently, I say, "May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace." And then I keep repeating that mantra to me with my breathing until I feel myself calm down. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace.
And you're talking to yourself. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Thank you. That's a very good gift to give the people that are watching right now. I appreciate that very much. So, if people want to find out more about you and connect with you, how would they do that?
Well, the easiest way is to really just email me at solazar@gmail.com. It's easier than giving you my website. So that's SOLARZAR at gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun being with you, Solazar. We've known each other for a long time, and I just know
Yeah.
that you just have a golden heart and just a love for people. And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Gene. You're such a gift.
And thank you, our listeners and viewers, for joining us. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.